Next up, you are going to hear about the future of B2B from Saber Sherrard.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, the buying journey is no longer linear. Buyers discover, they educate, they compare, all on their own. Buyers are conducting this journey digitally, and doing so at a rapid pace, much more quickly than we've seen in the past. But all of that isn't news. There's a meaningful disconnect between marketers and sellers on understanding this buyer journey. So, for example, marketers are still relying on the role of digital assets as sources of influence, and sellers, for their part, overestimate their own influence that they have on the buyer's decision-making. Ultimately, the last year plus has accelerated the prior trend and permanently shifted the need for marketers and sellers to integrate their activities and their resources. Well, what's clear is the standard definition of an MQL. So somebody filling out a form or attending a webinar and then that sort of lead getting thrown over the wall to sales, that just doesn't reflect where people are or their readiness to buy. And so by that definition, the MQL no longer applies. Now, that's not at all to say that marketing isn't important. I believe it's more important than ever, primarily because by the time buyers engage with sales now, they're more purchase ready than they are sales ready. In fact, we found that 94% of buyers report being fully or somewhat informed about a product prior to making contact with a vendor rep. More specifically, winning marketers aren't even using MQLs as their primary KPI, but rather measuring themselves via integrated performance metrics like sales growth. In our latest research, 41% of buyers cite industry influencers as one of the most important sources of information at point of purchase. Moreover, these industry influencers were just as important as the sales reps themselves. Now, industry influencers can mean a lot of things, right? Anything from traditional sources like Gartner to a variety of other sources like industry websites, like maybe a G2, to Hacker News if you're targeting developers, to a long list and variety of community forums that are available. Now, what does this mean? One, buyers are trusting a wider community of influencing stakeholders to make business decisions. What that means for marketers is we need to know which digital sources are most important to the persona that we're targeting and ensure that we're devoting dollars and even FTEs to monitor our presence on these sources to ensure that we're remaining relevant to these channels that buyers are disproportionately looking to. First, let's take virtual selling. It's a global trend that COVID accelerated, and it's clear we're not going back to a pre-pandemic model. We know this because buyers overwhelmingly prefer to buy this way. 92% of buyers agree that virtual selling is effective even for complex purchases. Take virtual events. Again, dramatic change, but unlikely to go back to pre-pandemic format because buyers benefit. In this case, they benefit via the democratization of decision-making, which simply means larger groups of influencers can now participate in events that they couldn't before. Take the overall buying experience, right? So virtual has meant that many customers are doing all the early stage activities like demos and onboarding without a person guiding them. Key challenge B2B marketers need to solve going forward is just increased collaboration between sales and marketing, right? So one illustration of the lack of alignment between sales and marketing is sales often thinks marketing teams are tracked on MQLs and lead volume, when in fact, 71% of marketers are tracked to top-level business metrics like sales growth. Now that said, we are seeing several examples of marketing and sales working together in new ways. We've seen an increase in our clients having a joint view of the pipeline, where both sales and marketing are accountable for sales growth. We've also seen multiple marketers use a variety of digital techniques like website IP de-anonymization, and then cross-referencing this list with named accounts that the sales team is using to identify who to run ABM campaigns against. But the bottom line is that buyers prefer to engage digitally. They're making decisions often before even talking to someone. And if sales and marketing can't work together to keep up with these trends, today's buyer is just simply going to pass them by.